Guilty Gear has plenty of defensive mechanics, with Burst being one of the first people tend to use. It's easy to activate, effective at getting people off of you, and just saves you from some bad situations. On the other hand, Deflect Shield is also very good, but more situational, and you need to have a better understanding of how and when you should use it. Because both of these mechanics drain the same resource, there's a trade-off. Use one and you lose access to the other. So let's compare the two mechanics, how they should be used, how you should look to use them, and see which characters you may want to burst more than shield, and which to shield rather than burst. Burst, the blue one, is used when you're in hit or block stun and knocks the opponent back on hit. It requires a full burst gauge to activate, and you can't burst in certain situations, like when you're stuck on the wall. But generally speaking, if you've been hit, you can burst to get out. There's also Gold Burst, that is bursting when not in stun, but we're going to be focusing on Blue Burst for this video. So what is Burst used for? It's used for two main reasons, to stop yourself from being hit or to knock the opponent back. I think most people generally look at Burst as a combo breaker, which it is, but it also can be used to save you from being wall broken or even to keep your opponent in the corner. Deflect Shield, on the other hand, only requires 50% burst gauge. This shield protects you from all strikes, including projectiles and guard crush, and you can activate it even while blocking, and it pushes the opponent back super far, possibly opening them up to being punished. Like Burst, one of the main reasons to use Deflect Shield is because it pushes your opponent away. Useful for sure. However, because the shield is a full 360-degree protection to strikes, it's best used in tough mix-up situations. Be it high, low, or left-right, the opponent is pushed back if they hit you while it's active. And this is the core difference. Deflect Shield is best used when you're going up against a mix-up heavy character. If you struggle to block against a character's mix-up, then you should consider using Deflect Shield. And because it only uses 50% burst gauge, you can use it more often than Burst. Because this is so matchup dependent and the punishes are character dependent, you're going to have to contextualize this with your character. There is no one size fits all here. But let's go over some of the casts so you can start thinking about whom you may want to use shield against rather than burst. I'm going to divide the entire roster into three groups. Those you should probably burst rather than shield, those you should shield rather than burst, and those that can go either way. These groups are generalizations to get you thinking about the matchup. Sometimes you should just burst and forego the shield, even if it is a mix-up heavy character. Your decisions are specific to the situation. Thus, see this list as starting points to your strategy. So let's get the easy group out of the way. These are the characters I think you can either use burst or you could use Deflect Shield. Generally speaking, either they do a ton of damage and have really good mix-ups, or they don't do a ton of damage, but they have rather predictable attack patterns that could enable you to use shield more reliably. I want to use Sin as an example. He's a character that can put you in a high-low mix-up situation, and if he lands a good hit, you're going to take a ton of damage, probably be wall broken too. Because Burst and Shield use the same resource, it's going to be up to you whether you want to protect against the mix-up or protect against the damage. Sin can threaten both, so both are viable options. Next is the Burst over Shield group. These characters either don't have super strong mix-ups, they do exceedingly high damage, or they can attack you from far away, so pushing them back isn't as beneficial. Now, this isn't to say that you should never use Deflect Shield against these characters, but generally speaking, I think these characters' game plan push you to want to use Burst more often rather than Deflect Shield. For this group, I think Ram is a good example of how her high damage and her ability to get around Deflect Shield makes it feel like you'd rather save your gauge for Burst. Even if you use Deflect Shield, Ram can throw a sword and still force you to block it, or the sword explosion can lock you down even if you push Ram herself back. This is how a character's game plan can have you lean in one direction over another. The last group is the Shield over Burst, and there's one reason why they're here. They have hella mix, and against some of these characters you can just block or guess right and not have to burn a resource on them. But that can either be unreliable for you to do, or it's simply hard to do in a fast-paced situation, so trading some burst gauge for easier protection is a winning strategy. From this list, Milia is an important example. There's an OS you can use to help block against both same side mix-ups and cross-ups. In a cross-up situation, the direction you have to input the quarter circle for Deflect Shield changes. Thus, to help you in this situation, you can enter a quarter circle back dust and then hold down forward or forward to block in case of a cross-up. The way this works is, should the opponent stay same side, the Deflect Shield will activate, protecting you from any strike they may try. But if they cross you up instead, the Deflect Shield will not activate, but you're holding what is now back because of the change in side. Lastly, one critical tip in using Deflect Shield is when to activate it. Many of these characters have a move they use before their mix-up. For example, Anji has to do Fujin in order to access his follow-ups. It's best to Deflect Shield the Fujin rather than the follow-up themselves. Many players may not anticipate or simply flowchart straight into their mix-up option. So, by shielding the opening move, you push them back, causing them to whiff their actual mix-up attack, and a whiff like that can mean a big punish for you. By looking at the cast like this, I hope this gets you thinking about the matchup and if Deflect Shield could help you. It takes some labbing and practice, but it's a strong option to consider. See it as a way to add to your toolkit, because more options is always good. Even conceptually, this was a hard video to make. The reason I even made it was because I was tired of being in Anji's Fujin vortex and just wasn't feeling that confident in my fuzzy block timing. So I started to realize that I should use Deflect Shield more, but that means I need to stop myself from using Burst, because it's a reflex sometimes. And that's when I realized this is probably an issue other people are facing. So naturally, I turned it into content. And as a casual, I need this kind of content.